So before we worked on our business culture, as we were hiring people, there would be a shortage, and we would say, okay, who has friends that aren't doing any work? And it was hiring people by default rather than by design. In my industry, it may be easier to find a warm body, but even that's hard to find now, I would say. So most people are happy just to have anybody work for them, and then they just churn through if necessary until they find the right person. So the impact of hiring that way is that you end up with a group of people that have different ideas about what is the right thing to do at work. And so that creates all kinds of wasted time, wasted energy, and difference of opinions sometimes even leads to like disagreements that turn into flare-ups and worse. And then what that does in turn is it brings more problems back to me that I've got to deal with in terms of HR and staffing, rather than working on building into people and growing the business.
So prior to changing the culture, there was really not a lot of time or effort spent into determining whether people were a good fit for the roles. There was a ton of confusion out there. Not to mention it was hard to find people to do the work. And then when the work came, it was hire whoever we could find to get the job done. And it just created a whole lot of problems. Probably the biggest one was a lot of lack of morale in the company as people watched people come and go. There was no set of values to guide anybody in any certain ways, a lot of misalignment. It just created chaos on job sites. Schedules weren't met, clients were impacted by it, but worst of all, the team was not in a good place. Yeah, the amount of stress was huge, not just for myself, but even for the people that were loyal to me. It was hard for them to function correctly when they saw a lot of these things happening, and things weren't changing. It put a lot of stress on them, made their days difficult, which in turn made my life very difficult also.
What it's like now after working on the culture, it's by no means perfect, but it is way better. So it's way better because our key leaders are learning and growing now. They're in alignment. I get feedback from them and from their families that they're operating differently at work and at home. And they're excited to stay. They're not thinking about leaving. And then for the rest of the staff, we just went through a hiring process, and it's way more in depth, and we're way more interested in getting to know the person, whether or not they're a good fit for the team. And that also gives confidence to the people that we're employing. So we want to spend way more time on the front end, making sure we have a good fit, so that after we've done all that work, the likelihood is really high that we're going to be working together long term, which is good for both parties, really.
So once we decided to change the culture and create a great place to work, which is also a place for people to grow, which is, by the way, a lot of hard work. But what's happening now is we've got a very engaged team. Our leaders are in line with each other, and you can see that the culture is becoming consistent across the company. And we spend a lot of time on our hiring process, so a lot of time is spent up front determining whether people are a fit. And that has resulted in bringing some good people on board. And so we've got people that are engaged on the team. We are able to acquire people appropriately as we are able to. And we've actually had situations where we've had people come back after seeing what the culture is like. And even once you see the culture working out there, we've had people notice that and come knocking at our door and saying, I wonder what it's like to work there. And so we're early on in seeing the fruit, but it's very exciting. And great to see results of hard work.
I can't believe the messages that we get back from suppliers even. They're saying, we want to work with you guys because you're organized, your staff is polite, and they're just great to work with, very professional. That's a comment that we get back a lot. And then they say, how can we help you? Like, we want to insert you into the opportunities that are coming across our desk. So that's a really big deal.
So we had a really cool incident not that long ago where one of my young leaders was on a project. It was a challenging project, but brought a few different employees of ours together, got the project done, and one of the other trades happened to notice just how well things were working on the job site, and that gentleman is now working for us. So that's just one of the great stories of seeing how the culture is contagious out there. The other thing is, if I look back, and the huge amount of energy that was wasted on this entire topic is now virtually gone, and now it opens up all kinds of time for myself to explore other opportunities of way higher value. Not to mention the amount of stress that is gone, not just for myself, but also for my leaders, and the amount of engagement I get from my leaders now that they see that.